Sanders.
Here.
Mr. Gillum.
Here.
Mr. Lane.
Here.
All right. Item number 2 is we're going to have a moment of silence in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated. Item number 3 is a recognition of our bus driver, Mr. Cody Upham, and the bus assistant, Valine Allran. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Craig.
As all of you know, in March, I think it was March 20th, there was a terrible accident on the road in Cumberland City, and in the midst of it, or right after it, I guess, one of our buses came upon the accident, and they went above and beyond to help out the victims of the accident. Mr. Upham, Cody, took the bus around the wreck so the kids wouldn't see it. He got off the bus with his fire extinguisher and extinguished a fire, which later I was told by first responders if he hadn't have done that, there would have been a very good possibility that they would have not survived the wreck. And while he was doing that, Miss Allran stayed on the bus with the special needs kids and made sure that they were safe. And we just wanted to tell you thank you. We have a certificate for each of you. It's just a little bit. I know it's not enough to show our gratitude and thank you, but this is also, I'd like to add this, it's a testament to the training that our bus drivers go through constantly on safety. Mr. Watkins does a great job to make sure that our bus drivers are prepared, and they went into action, and we're just real proud of everything that they did. I want to read on the certificate what we had put on here. In recognition of your outstanding bravery and selflessness, efforts to give assistance on March 20th, 2024. We hereby honor you and admire your courage. And it's presented today, April 11th, 2024, from the Stewart County School Board. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll let you get down to business. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, we're gonna let this slow down. Got to sit down. Support something.
All right, the next item is the public comment. I didn't have anybody sign in, so we'll skip to item number 5, which is corrections or additions to and/or approval of the agenda. One thing I'd like to do here is I'd like to add a step right here at under item number 5. The new item number 6 would be to allow Mr. Dale Morgan to address what happened at the school the other day with the gun issue. So I'd like to seek a motion for approval of the agenda with that updated number in there, to allow Mr. Morgan to give his information.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Sanders. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, no. All right. So item number 5 is good with the addition to that, and item number 6 will be to allow Mr. Dale to talk about what happened.
Mike?
It's all you, buddy.
That's all me. Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Parks. Several months ago, we had an incident, and I had to come and I wanted to. I had asked Mr. Craig if I could come and explain the situation when we had a quote-unquote kill list. So there was a lot of things that was misconstrued. This incident was not as bad as that one. It was handled pretty quickly once again, and want to clear some things up, why we did what we did and how we did it. So the incident started about 11:41. By 11:43, the gun was secure, less than 2 minutes. The gun was secure, was in Mr. Will's office there for a bit, and then Tim came in, SRO Tim Morgan came in, retrieved the gun, put it in his locker in his office. It was at that point in time that we kind of started looking for Miss or the teacher. I don't want to give out any names, but we started looking for the teacher and got her, brought her into the office and explained what was going on. So by 12:39, I think is the timestamp, teacher was off the premises. So less than an hour, the gun was secure, and the teacher was sent home. So a couple of things that you should know. One, the question was, why didn't we do a lockdown? No student knew about the gun. There was no reason to cause mass panic to a community, to everybody in the school. There was just no reason for that. A teacher brought the purse down. They opened it up in the secretary's station there, found that there was a gun. Mr. Will was automatically called. So there was really no, there could have been a lot, you know that, there's a lot of what ifs, but the what ifs didn't happen. The gun was secure. As far as the arrest, I want to say it this way, she is a teacher. She is a respected teacher. She loves kids. She didn't have any malice to my view, to my point. She was respectful. She didn't cause any alarm. She didn't get angry. She didn't get upset. She was very respectful. Once we had a talk with her in the office, I escorted her everywhere in the building to retrieve her things. She got all of her personal effects out of her office. Everywhere she had things, I was right there with her. So she was never left alone until we escorted her out of the building. I did explain when I got her outside the building what was getting ready to happen, that I was going to have to arrest her, but I tried to do it in a manner that was respectful. She was tore up, she was bent out of shape. I started to follow her home, but that would have caused more chaos, but I did call her, and she called me when she got home just to make sure she was all right. So I did not put handcuffs on her. I did not walk her out of the building. That was my choice, and if I've got to answer for that later on, then I will. But she was a respected teacher. She was not there to cause harm and alarm. She just made a horrible mistake, but that mistake was against the law, and I have to do what I got to do. So anyway, are there any questions? Mr. Will is here. He was right there with us at the start as well. So is there any questions from you all?
Could we expect the same response if just anybody came into the school with a weapon?
No, sir.
Okay, what would happen if somebody from the public came in there with a weapon?
If I did not know them, we would treat them not nicely. We would apprehend. I hope we wouldn't have to use lethal, but if you come in with a gun, we can match that or up it. So anyway, I will say this, that all of the SROs are trained. Every one of us are trained. If somebody comes in to do harm to our schools, or to shoot and ask questions later. That's just all there is to it. It wouldn't be a good day for a lot of people. So, but no, this was an incident that just a horrible mistake, a night out in Clarksville, then just forgot to remove the weapon the next day. So it was a horrible mistake, but it was a costly one. So, but no, not every situation is going to be different, and I'm glad that this one was a good different. So, anything else?
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity again, just to clarify some things. Why, I know the biggest thing was why there wasn't a lockdown, but there was no cause. It would have done more damage to have a lockdown. So, that was in my opinion. Anything else?
I appreciate it. I understand you work for the sheriff's office. You don't even have to explain this to us, but we appreciate that.
Well, I do work for the sheriff's office, but if you all don't know me by now, then I've sunk 20 years into these kids, and I love them.
Yeah. No.
Truly believe I'd bleed for them.
Yeah.
So that's a career.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Officer Morgan.
Appreciate it.
All right. Item number 7 is the approval of the minutes. You've got a copy of the minutes in your board packets earlier this week. Is there any objections or corrections to those? All right, I'll seek a motion for the approval of the minutes. Motion by Ms. Sanders. Second by Mr. Gillum. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Those opposed, no. Yeses have it. All right, item number 8 is the consent agenda. We want to talk about any of this?
It's just normal, some fundraising.
Hey, hold on just one second. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb. Second by Mr. Purcell. All right, now, sorry, go ahead.
These are just fundraisers to help pay for expenses for, looks here, 3 athletic teams, and then overnight field trip for FCCLA to Seattle, Washington for nationals later on this summer.
It's big, isn't it?
And we're going to have some more of these. I'm probably at the June call me, and I'm not sure how we need to proceed, but I know that there's going to be other groups that are going to be taking overnight trips because they did qualify for nationals, but it just happened, so they didn't have their stuff in. So when we have the call meeting in June, I know it'll be for budget issues, but we'll probably have a few of these things too. So just giving you a heads up on it.
All right, all those in favor of the consent agenda say yes. Yes. Those opposed, no. All right, the yeses have that. Item number 9 is the approval of budget amendments. We'll separate these out. So the first one is I'll seek a motion for the approval of the 142 federal budget.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Fitzhugh.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lamb. All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, Dr. Duncan
Absolutely.
addresses this. Dr. Duncan, the 142s.
Yeah, we have 2 amendments in 142. We have Perkins 801. This is just Miss Baggett trying to spend out all of her money. Can't carry Perkins money over from year to year, her fiscal year. So she's moving some funds from her supplies and materials and in-service that she has not spent in FY24 over to vocational equipment. She's going to use that money to purchase some equipment for updating the business lab and FBLA lab down at the high school. And then ESSER 3, just year-end cleanup, moving $288 from the textbook line that was used to purchase math curriculum this year to the salary for our family liaison, our social worker. So if you have any other additional questions, let me know.
Are there any questions on the federal budget? All right, let's take a roll call for that one.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Akis?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzhugh?
Yes.
Mr. Purcell?
Yes.
All right, then the other part of that is the 143 food service. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the 143 food service budget amendments.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb. Second by Ms. Fitzhugh. Discussion.
Ms. Wallace.
Yes, Ms.
I'm
Wallace.
ready. Yes, there were, the last time I was here, we had moved equipment from the restricted. After talking to the auditor, it was recommended that we do line item transfers. So that's what that is. It's just kind of a reversal there that we're doing. And then we're doing line item transfers to move the equipment out of those various line items. As you can see, we got some from, we've still got quite a bit left in those line items. So we just moved those over for the equipment, from there to the equipment, to total $95,200 for right now. We're looking into getting a new freezer and cooler for North Stewart. So we've got to go ahead and move that. And then later on, we're going to look at moving maybe some money over to get ovens. The other thing is we did get a grant for $51,872.66, and it's supply chain grant. So that was moved over into food supplies.
All right. Any questions? All right, can we get a roll call on that?
Mr. Costello. Ms. Sanders.
Yes.
Mr. Gill.
Yes.
Mr. Lane.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Baker.
Yes.
Ms. Fisher.
Yes.
All right. Item number 10 is discussion and approval of selecting a voting delegate for the TNRMT. So, I don't know exactly how to, we do need to discuss and we need to select a voting delegate, but how do we? All right. So we can take
Does everybody
nominations.
know what it is?
So I think that's the question that we need to answer before. So I'm gonna let you explain what it is.
Okay, as all of you, I think you know, we are, we take our insurance through Tennessee Risk Management Trust, which is what the county uses, what we use. And every so often, they have to elect a board of trustees to decide, they make decisions on how to, raise rates or whatever. We are up for election. Our district is currently, we're in District 6. Dr. Kathy Beck, who's the Director of Schools at Cheatham County, she's currently our trustee. What we've been asked to do is to select someone from the school board to be our voting delegate, and then after that, I'll help you fill out the information, and then there'll be a list of probably, I don't know if there'll be anybody be put up to run against her, but then we'll have one vote on who will be on the board of trustees. It's basically just picking somebody to be a voting delegate.
All right. So I'm gonna seek a motion for the approval of selecting the voting delegate.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb.
Sorry.
Second by Mr. Rousseau. Now, we will have nominations for the voting delegate. Yeah. You're not going to get paid or anything. This is just...
Was anybody expecting that? I mean, really? Come aboard.
Can I say something? You
absolutely.
can't even, you're not even gonna have to go anywhere. We're gonna probably sit down and fill out a piece of paper. It's just a formality, just to be honest with you.
So funny. Not to laugh at you, I'm laughing
No,
with
but
you.
I just wanna make
I'm
sure
like,
that
really?
it's an attractive job.
Yeah.
Can I nominate somebody from the chair? I'll nominate Mr. Lamb.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dacus. Is there anybody else? Any more nominations?
Nominations cease.
So, say, okay, so we're gonna close this and Mr. Adam is nominated.
Congratulations.
Step up to the plate.
Yeah, all in favor to close that motion out, say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. All right, good deal.
You don't get paid.
That's all right.
That's an echo
I like
from
the
Mr. Craig.
free job.
Item number 11 is discussion and approval of the 24-25 professional development. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the fiscal or the year 24-25 professional development. Motion by Ms. Sanders.
Okay.
Second by Mr. Gillum. All right, discussion.
In your packet, it just shows what we're planning. Again, we do this every year at this time. This is showing you what we have planned for the upcoming year. Dr. Duncan and the rest of the staff, we put together our professional development for our teachers, and that will be taking place July 25th or July 31st next year. I'll take any questions that you have. I know you've looked over this already, so if there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
anything new from this year that we added, that we didn't, maybe we just added something new?
Can Dr. help me?
Absolutely.
Have we added anything really?
No, essentially it's the same, curriculum work with our vendor TNTP on ELA and NIET on math. We are going to partner with NIET next year and do some science professional development because next year is going to be an adoption year of a science curriculum. So that would be new. Capturing Kids' Hearts, which we've done the last 2 years, we're kind of out of that program. It's really a 2-year cycle. So that won't be continued, but other than that, it's pretty status quo.
I will say there is one little change. We're going to do a little something different where a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing is like an ed camp where our own teachers will be. We're asking for teachers to come up with things that they're doing great in the classrooms, and then they're going to share it with other teachers. Because I think we have, I don't believe in going out and paying high dollars for somebody to come in and do professional development when we have our own people who do a good job. And we're going to take advantage of that. And they will be paid a little stipend to do it, but that's kind of the direction we're going.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor for the approval of the 24-25 professional development say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, no. All right, the yeses have it. All right. Item number 11 is the approval of the fiscal year 25 budget. So, should I separate all those? I guess I probably should separate all them out, right? Yeah. So I'll accept a motion that will encompass all these, or we can do them separately, whichever way y'all want to do them.
I guess if anybody had any questions, we would need to pull them out, but I didn't have any questions over any of them individually.
All right, then I will. Is everybody good with that then?
Are we making a motion for the whole thing?
For the whole thing.
Okay, well, then we'll have discussion, right?
Yes.
Unless somebody has one they want to pull out and discuss separately.
No, I want to talk about it all.
Yep. But somebody has to make the motion.
Make a motion to approve the whole budget as a whole.
All right, I've got a first for approving the budget as a whole.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lamb. Now we can discuss. Yeah.
And I'm gonna, if it pleases you, I'm gonna go ahead and give you an overview of some things, and then if it's okay, Mr. Nguyen, who did all the heavy lifting on this, and I have to say he does pretty much the whole deal. We talk about it, but I think, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but I think sometimes he likes for me just to stay out of his way for a little while. Because I get, sometimes I can get some ideas on spending money, and he has to say, whoa, let's ease up there. So some highlights that everybody needs to know. In this budget, it includes a $3,000 raise for every certified teacher. And the reason that we're doing it like that, because I've told you, I think I've explained this before, but by the year 26, 27, let me get my notes out so make sure I'm not saying anything wrong. By year 26, 27, we have to have our starting teachers, a 0 experience bachelor's degree has to be at $50,000 by state law. So we have approached it like this, and when you do that, you're required the scale for everybody moves. So by doing a $3,000 raise this year for teachers, $3,000 again next year for teachers, and then the following year $3,000, we will be up to 50. Our starting salary for a starting teacher would be $51,000, which will be above the state minimum. Which I think we need to try to do that at least, even if it's just a few $100 to be above it. We're not at the state minimum when we're trying to attract people. Now, we're also going to, and that money to pay for those raises comes from increases in TISA funding. In the TISA funding, though, they don't provide money for any raises except for certified staff. But we want to also make sure that we're taking care of and we're giving raises to our non-certified staff, our classified staff, our bus drivers and people like that. So in this budget, we put in a 5% increase for them. And that will be covered through, we've done some things to save money, but also we have outcome money from TISA this past year, a few hundred, I think it's 120,
It's 200, a little over 200,000.
a little over 200,000, and we'll be using that to give our non-certified staff 5% raises. And hope we can keep doing that as we go forward, because they're as important as a certified teacher. We're required to give these $3,000 raises, not that amount, but we have to by this 3-year window have it up to 50,000. Is everybody follow me on that? So that's why that's the big increase. That's the big thing in there. There does show on this that there's an increase in revenue, and that's not because we're asking the county commission for new tax dollars. It's just the projections are we will have more because there's higher sales tax revenue. So we're going to get more, but we're not really asking for it.
Like the formulas too, they're talking about. They're saying that every year, I mean, it could change too as far as how much money we're allocating. Correct? That's what I thought.
It's based on your
enrollment
number of students,
yeah.
and that changes monthly. I mean, almost daily that
Right.
can change. If somebody leaves, it goes
Right.
down. If somebody adds, it goes up.
Right.
And then also you have the outcomes, which means we did some good things, so we got bonuses.
Yeah.
And
And those numbers, they're saying that the years going forward could change.
If we improve like I think we're going to over the next, the things that we're trying to do, I think the outcomes will hold steady and then maybe even increase. Of course, you get more money if you have kids that have special needs and things like that. They do. The state gives you more money.
Right.
And I'm still trying to figure it all out.
I know it's the new formulas are a lot different.
Right. But is all right, Mr. Wynn?
Absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Wynn?
Well, I mean, if there's any questions or if you want me to go through it, anything, I'll be more than happy to go through the budget or go answer any questions you have about the budget.
I guess my question about all of it. So this is the proposed budget. And I am not fact checking you at all, sir. So don't take it that way. Will we have time in June to have work sessions to explain, maybe not all this, but to look at different things like, hey, maybe we put a bathroom up or something like that. That's probably not a thing, but is it something that, are we going to talk about the budget again, or is this the last?
Well,
all said.
the budget has to be submitted to the county by May 1.
Okay.
So that's why we bring it in the April meeting. But that's not to say we can amend the budget throughout the year.
Okay.
If there are things that the board, these are projections.
Yes.
It's a projection of what we're going to need and what we're going to spend to handle that need. The needs may change. An air conditioner blows up, a bus transmission goes up, we have to move money. And so, the board can revisit that anytime they want to, and we can amend the budget to do whatever the board wants to do with it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure how that works.
We have to submit a budget to the county by May 1st. So,
And they can deny it and send it back to us.
Right.
Then.
Chris, we used to do this every year like this. We just done the same budget repeat because a lot of the numbers that you get
A lot of the numbers are
that's
the
not
same.
even in yet, are they?
No, a lot of the numbers stay the same because the salaries and the benefits are really what, which is the biggest chunk of the budget is people. Mm-hmm. And, so the salaries and benefits are really what change from year to year. And like this year's budget, with a $3,000 raise and a 5% raise for support staff, you saw an increase in most of the budget salary lines, and you saw an increase across the board in the benefits, because when salaries go up, Social Security goes up, things like that. PCRS goes up.
Was there any big, because I missed the last meeting, so I know that the children talked about those and other things. Was there any big capital projects in this budget? or is that all a separate?
One thing I will say, if you go over to maintenance plant, which is on page 12, you'll see that in the maintenance and repair services building, maintenance and repair services equipment, we put more money in there than we normally do. We upped it $105,000 on the maintenance and repair building, because that's to do some of those air conditioners that were in that capital project list.
Big ones are not in.
Yeah, it's not a chiller, it's not a, but you know, some of these rooftop units that we've got that we had in that capital projects plan, we put that money in there specifically to replace those.
We're exploring some alternate funding grants that the federal government's putting out. I'm meeting next week with Train again, because they've got the line on it. We're going to see if we can try to go that route before we start going into the fund balance or whatever we would have to do.
And I mean, you know, if you go to the last page and look at our, you know, our fund balances, we're in good shape, fund balance wise. We projected a deficit when we did last year's budget, but you know, we will break even, or we'll probably grow the fund balance just a little bit this year. So that number will be bigger than it's projected on last year's budget. And so, I mean, our fund balance, the state wants us to maintain 15% of our expenditures in cash. So that's about 3.2 million. So you see, you know, we're well above that. So, you know, if there are capital projects, you know, before we put that in the budget, we wanted to explore other options before we put, but you know, we talked about in July, August, talking about capital projects again with the board, because by then we should know more about what kind of grants are available and things like that.
Chris, is there anything in here that will stick out to us, showing us that compared to last year we had to go up X amount of dollars?
Well, energy cost.
Energy is the main.
Energy cost, I projected increases in energy cost because it goes up every year, and it's unpredictable. There are some lines that are considerably bigger than they were last year, and I think a couple things I'll point out. You know, if you look on page 2, on line 63, the TISA amount, we're projecting about a $800,000 increase in TISA funds. And that, you know, as Mr. Craig said, that will go toward paying for the teacher raises and the support staff raises. And also on line 72, there's $550,000. That is the remaining balance on our ISM grant, the vocational grant we got last year. It's a 3-year grant, so we've got 3 years to spend that $1.5 million. We're going to knock a pretty good lick out of it with about $1 million this year in this year's budget that we spent. But we just budgeted the remaining amount and scattered it where Ms. Baggett wanted to spend it throughout the budget. That's not to say we will spend all that $550,000 this year, because we still have one more year after next year to spend it. Just going through quickly.
On the teachers, I know we're up 350,000. That includes the raises.
Yes.
Now, are we planning on adding any teachers this year? We need, or as far as like a large amount?
I don't see us adding any positions.
Okay.
We may have to hire some
people.
teachers.
Right. I didn't know if we had adding new
because
positions.
we're going to have some people retire, and we're going to have some people leave, I'm sure. So there won't be any new added positions.
That you know of.
No. In fact, if somebody leaves or retires, if it can be filled from within, we will try to do that first, because our enrollment is not where it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's down.
Yeah.
So
Some things that we've increased the other contracted services under special ed under 7220, which is page 8. We moved that, we increased that, and again, that's I don't want to use the term guesstimate, but it's a guesstimate because, you know, one student moves in that requires a lot of services, and that number goes up dramatically very quickly. But We are putting more money into other contracted services for special ed. On page, I know over in the transportation on page 12, you'll see that on line 450, which is other charges, you see I budgeted 35,000 there last year. I'm budgeting 110,000 there this year. That's because we've got to, because of the new radio system that the county has, we've got to make some modifications to all of our buses and update our radios in the buses. And we're also looking at buying a new fuel system for the transportation garage where we pump the diesel fuel and the gasoline. And then on the final page, page 14, you'll see that on line 512, that it went from 76,000 to 160. That is the anticipated repayment of our ESI loan that we did to pay for the work they're doing right now at Dover Elementary and middle school and high school. And if it's all right, while I'm here, I'll talk about transportation budgets. If that's okay with you, Mr. Morgan. If you'll notice in the budget, in the 141 budget on line 501, we've got $300,000 budgeted there, and that was in the past couple of years. What we've done is we've split the cost of new buses with the county. We pay, like this year, we're budgeting for 3 buses. So we're going to pay for 1.5 buses. The county's going to pay for 1.5 buses. But the difference is this year, and you probably noticed we have a new fund that was on the list. There's the 144, which is the one that we have every year that doesn't move. It's got $6,000 in it. But there's now a fund 177, and what it is the mayor has asked the county commission to go back like we used to do and drop pennies of sales tax in a fund each year to help to pay the county's portion of funding the school buses. And so if you look at that 177 page, that's a new, it's called Education Capital Projects, and it will take the place of the old 144 fund. And you've got, the county is projecting $217,000 in there, and that would go toward the payment for buying buses, pay the county portion of the buying buses. So, we wouldn't have to go each year, we wouldn't have to discuss it each year. It would just be that money would be there as we need buses. But again, that's pending commission approval. They've got it in the county budget, and if the commission approves it, that's what that would be their portion of the buses each year. Does that make sense? And what we would do is, once it passes, and 177, after July 1, we'd open the 177 fund. We'll come back to you with we're going to close out the 144, and we'll transfer that money, that 6182, from 144 to the 177 to go toward paying for buses.
And
it's
then
just
we won't talk about 144 anymore.
144 will disappear, and
It'll be gone.
it'll be 177.
And we won't have to negotiate with the county commission about buying a bus. The money will be.
Thank you for
Welcome.
saying that, going through this. I appreciate it.
Well, like I said, if you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll find an answer.
I got one question, and just from looking where we're at now, you see insurance prices going up everywhere. So
Absolutely, we had a huge increase in insurance last year, and I haven't gotten a final number this year.
I saw that you did increase a lot of line items a little bit, but I was just wondering if you'd had any information about what ours may go to.
Well, no, I mean they haven't set the medical insurance rate, and which is the one that is very concerning. But I mean, just our liability and workman's comp insurance and all that went up considerably last year. Just our property insurance.
All right.
But TCRS went up just a little bit. and not enough to really make a huge impact on the budget. And I haven't seen a number on, because that really doesn't take effect until January on the medical insurance. Any changes, we usually don't. We usually get those about the beginning of May if there's going to be increases in medical insurance.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right, let's have a roll call.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzhugh?
Yes.
Mr. Paulso?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Item number 13 is discussion and approval of policy 3.401 change. So I'll seek a motion to approve the policy change for 3.401.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Purcell, second by Mr. Davis. Now discussion.
Mr. Watkins came,
Yeah.
Mr. Watkins requested that we make he wanted to make a little change, wanted us to change our policy that was done pre-COVID, but it would be to take out, to make our, I guess what I'm trying to say, to make our policy match what we do with our buses and our kids when they're on the bus. And as we sent it to you in the packet, it's in the middle of the start on line 10. No student may exit the bus at a destination other than the student's designated stop. Director of schools shall develop procedures that will allow student to exit the bus at an alternative location, which we have already done that. We already have procedures in place in the transportation office. They have to go through him, and it has to be an extenuating circumstance before we change where we're dropping people off. So what he has asked is that we take out the part that says, however, no student should be allowed to exit the bus at a stop other than the student's regular bus stop unless the student provides the driver with a signed note. That's the part he wants to take out. It'd have to be done in advance. It's a safety issue, keeping up with kids and keeping up. It's really worked well that we only drop kids off where their drop-off points are. And so he's asked us to do that. I agreed, and so we brought it to the board for consideration to make that change.
So I guess my only question is, I see it, somebody, they put in an emergency, added to put in an emergency for alternative. So they could still, if it was an emergency, they could go to Mr. Watkins and say, hey, this is what's going on and stuff.
And we
Yeah.
do it. We don't do it a lot, and it has to be a true emergency. It can't be that Susie was going to spend a night with Janie or whatever. It's got to be an emergency. I mean, things happen in life with parents. They got to stay late for work, or somebody gets sick. So we do allow for that. We're not cold-hearted. It's not, but they have to go through the proper channels and go through Mr. Watkins.
Eric's been doing this long enough, I think, that he knows exactly.
And that's
what
why
needs
when
to
he
be
brought it to me, I'll be honest with you, I was just like, you run that transportation department. If you think that this is going to make it work better, I trust you. And so that's why I brought it to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify that's what that meant.
Yes.
I figured that's what it was, but I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure.
Any other discussion? All those in favor for the approval of policy 3.401, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed, no. Yeses have it. Item number 14 is discussion and approval of surplus property. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the sale of the surplus property.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Purcell,
Second.
second by Mr. Lamb. All right, discussion. I like this stuff.
We have 25 single student desks, 2 old filing cabinets, 46 student chairs, and 15 student desks at Dover Elementary. And we will make a great deal on it for somebody. It'll be on Gov Deals, and that's the last step before they go off to the scrap yard, and we'll sell it off with our as scrap. But hopefully somebody will need some student desks.
Any discussion on this? All those in favor for the approval of the sale of surplus property, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no. All right, item 15 is the director's report.
Got a few things and hopefully all of it, pretty good news. Next on Monday, which I'm sure the teachers and kids are not. I mean, they've been working hard all year. Starting Monday, our TCAP and EOC state testing begins. So you'll be probably hearing about that from kids and teachers. I know that living with a teacher, this is a pressure time for them because they feel like that they're being judged, which they are, on what they've done all year long. And I don't like to put. I try not to put. We try to put an emphasis on it, but not pressure, because it's a snapshot of one day and one test. And so, but I think just from what I see every day, I couldn't see where anybody's working any harder than our teachers are, and our kids. It's been so we're not necessarily happy, excited about it, but we're ready for it to get it done and be done with it. Today was our last meeting. I probably have not done a good job communicating this, but we've had over the course of the past few weeks, or past few months, what we've called our Aspiring Administrators Academy. We had 5 people that work in the system who've shown an interest in becoming administrators. We've had Dr. Duncan has led, how many sessions did we meet with him?
5, I believe.
5 sessions. Today was our last one, and they attended every session. And we've got some people that in the future will be that. We started looking around about who's going to be the next leaders in our system, because some of us are getting a little, as Dr. Wallace used to say, a little long in the tooth. And we're going in the next few years. You're probably going to have some people retire, and so we wanted to make sure that we were trying to find people within the system that would make good administrators. And I think these sessions have been great. I think it's been eye-opening. In fact, they ended up all of it by going and spending a day with a principal in another school. So I think it's been a good experience. Would you agree with that, Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's over. I don't know if anybody has paid attention to social media, but Miss Mary Lambert, our FBLA Future Business Leaders of America advisor, was selected as Advisor of the Year for the state of Tennessee, which is a huge honor and well deserved. She works her tail off, and her kids do. I don't have all the list of everything, but all of our organizations that are involved in these state competitions have really represented our county well. I know HOSA had a great convention. FCCLA had a number of students who qualified and placed in the state. So just real proud of the work they've done, and especially Miss Lambert. I don't know how many of you know her, but she's excellent.
She's been doing it over 30 years. Stewart County has just been excelling in FCLA.
On that same light, Miss Baggett informed us this week, Miss Connie Baggett, that she's working half-time, semi-retired. This is it. She's going into full retirement at the end of the school year. So we're gonna miss her too. And that's all I got.
All right. Item number 16 is the announcements. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up?
Yeah, y'all are gonna take me for a minute.
It's all right.
Just for a minute. Mike, I guess the big thing that I want to talk about, everybody's probably seen it, the parent-kid lunch, big deal going on. When I ran last year, a lot of people asked me about it. I haven't had as much lately, but I would just like to see, I wasn't here during COVID, I was on the board, I'm new on the board, so there's a lot of things I don't know. So I just want to see what it would take or why we don't, right? I know that it's super expensive to buy security systems and things, so really just an overview.
Well, when we limited access to the schools, it started during the pandemic. because I mean that's just what we had to do. As we came out of that, we started opening things up a little bit more. We never stopped. At that point we stopped allowing visitors just coming into school at any time. Even now, when you go pick up your kid at school, you have to wait at the front door. That's a suggestion that we have gotten from security, Homeland Security and things like that, to not just have it going in and out, especially if you don't have some type of identification system software, which is we've checked into the price of it. It's pretty expensive. It's not overly expensive, and it's not something we couldn't do. Talking to the SROs, I'll just tell you, they think that it just adds another. They're not in favor of it because it's hard to control everybody that comes in and out, and you have to have. If you do, you have to have somebody assigned to do that. So that's another reason why we never brought it back. And then as an administrative team, the principals, and we've talked a lot about it over the course of a few years, they didn't feel like that. They felt like it was a distraction from the school, and that the question was asked, what are we here for? We're here to educate parents and so forth. Can they have time with their kids outside of school? If they want to come check them out of school, they can. People do that all the time. So it's just never been reinstituted. Yep. I know that we are going to next year bring back Grandparents' Day, where they can come in and eat. We'll have a special day where grandparents can come back, where we can control that. Right now, if you want to volunteer, you have to go get a background check. And we encourage people if they'd like to go on field trips, go excuse me, volunteer in the school, get the background check. It's all good. But as far as that, I mean, I'm not opposed to exploring it. But it's just procedures that we put in that we felt like are the best thing to maintain safety and maintain control over the building.
Well, I agree with you. I just wanted it to I agree, and I just wanted it to be pushed out that way, information on spread, right? Like, it's not me just saying it. Second thing I would like for y'all to possibly look at, if we ever can, I know that bathrooms and a bigger gymnasium was talked about for the baseball, softball field that had back cages in it. We'll never be able to do it right now, probably, because of money, but I would definitely like to explore just a bathroom in between the two, maybe, if that's possible. Small, it could be one-on-one.
You're talking about the baseball and softball.
Baseball, softball fields for the high school, and that's something to think about. I know, like I said, I know the first quote was the batting cages, and it was huge and all that, and we won't be able to.
That first one, when they brought that to me, that was $750,000, and I said, I'm not going to the school board and asking for that. I'll just tell you, because we've got roofs and air conditioning.
I agree. And
Have other things.
Big priorities.
And I'm an advocate for baseball, softball, but we've got theater. We've got other things that as a whole, because not everybody does that. Not everybody does theater. So
But we can explore the price on, just doing bathrooms, and hindsight's 20/20. When we built the fields, we should have gone ahead and done that too, but we didn't because of cost, and so here we are. 10 years later, I guess. It's been 10 years.
15.
Since we built the baseball and softball?
Yeah, it was 2011, 2012, so 13, 14.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, say the bathrooms or a theater stage, it can be donated by people in the county. correct? Like if you're,
That was actually included, like what you said about the
but
bathrooms.
I'm-
That was included in the plan. Chris remembers that when the school was built, but we had to take it out because we didn't have the money.
Yeah,
Daryl can
and
tell
then
you.
an
That was,
auxiliary
it was
gym.
supposed to be there in that area there at the end where at the end of the bathrooms there by the gymnasium was supposed to be a theater.
well, what
And
I'm
it was
saying
taken
is
out.
like the annex, right? If we wanted to make a better stage, I could give money to whoever, right, that runs the theater, and then that could be paid, the school paid, right? So for the county, if there's softball or baseball or theater, hey, if you want it bad enough, get some people together, get the money together, and we can do it.
The theaters you won't. It's a roof issue.
Well, I'm
And
talking
it's-
about,
You're talking $500,000
I'm
to
just-
fix their
I'm just-
leak.
yes.
But I know what you're saying. You,
Yeah, I
In
do,
general,
right.
right?
But when you look at a batting cage versus a theater added on to the end of the school, that, you know, you're putting that into the school area as well. So it's just, the need is a lot of things we have a need for, so definitely.
I'll put a plug in for the bathroom at the softball and baseball field. At one point, we were having to let them go to the high school. I mean, I've been out a year now with that, so.
We have, and it's not the best thing, we've got porta potties
That's
out
what
by
I
the
did know. I've been
softball
out
field, and we
real
have,
bad.
but we still allow, we have access to the gymnasium bathrooms from the baseball, which is not a terrible walk, but it's not ideal.
Well, no, it's not. It
Terrible
becomes
for softball.
kind of
It is.
somewhat of
It
a
is.
safety
From the
issue there.
softball,
you're
right, it
Yeah.
is.
But we have where we can close off that part from the
Yes.
rest of the school.
Yes.
And what I really wanted to say is, especially, I mean, for the people listening or watching this, if you have something that wants to be done, try and get something together to say, hey, Mike, you know, can we do this with this money and bring it to the board, and we put a small bathroom there if they want to provide that, right? Will it happen? Probably not. But when I was in school, that's what we had to do. We didn't have press box, we had to build one. You know, so it's just I just wanted to put it out there. I get asked about the bathrooms a lot, or you know, middle school softball field, which me and you've already talked about. We're adding dirt to it. You know, we're gonna make it practicable and really good. So I just wanted to put it out there. And that's all my announcements. Y'all could not be mad at me.
How long was he, Miss Lisa?
About 12 minutes. No, I'm just
Carry
teasing.
the two.
I was gonna set the alarm, but I was afraid it would scare everybody.
Thank you for the time.
All right, has anybody got anything else?
One question.
1 minute.
Mike, what is the Thursday and Friday last week? What was the activity at North Stewart? Was it setting?
The construction,
I don't know if there was a crane out there.
yeah, they were putting that second air handler on that they couldn't do in the back when it was too wet, and that should all be up and running, turned on at the middle of next week. So that project
Is
is
issue?
done,
Okay.
except for getting a gas inspection that we can't get they can't get the guy to come out and inspect because it has to have propane gas to run heat to it. So they've got to inspect the line and give an okay on it, and then we're turning it on. And then I should have done this in the director's report, but the new water pump station at Dover Elementary is in. That project's done. So we shouldn't have. I mean, we've been crossing our fingers because there was no way to fix it again if it went down again. We would have been. But they came in during spring break, put it in, new pump house. It's all done. Yeah, that crane was putting those new units on.
Okay.
Back of the
I don't know how many they put up there. It looked like to me they had, it was about a couple, 3 days.
Yeah, they did all that when we wouldn't have anybody in the building. We had that all planned out.
Gotcha.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll seek a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, please.
Ms. Sanders first,
Second.
second by Mr. Gillum. All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. We're adjourned.
James Jackson stuff.
Roger says, you know, he's got these meetings.
That's where I
we never
came
get to sit down.